Shalom, Kol Haloyim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachak Wadash, Shani Kabad, Gadwala Requab, Zaquanim Nawa, Wa Shalayakim Nawa. That's double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Shalom, Wabarakim, Labakarnim, Shalayasharala. That's peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. So in my last video, the Spirit had me read a few precepts in this chapter, and then also it had me to mention a phrase, and that phrase is going to be this video's topic, which, as you can see, your actions will show forth where your mind is. Your actions show where your mind is at, is what I'm going to call this video in the Spirit. And I read Colossians, the 3rd chapter. I'll do that right here before I continue speaking. So verse 1 says, "If ye then be risen with Yahushai, seek those things which are above, where Yahushai sitteth on the right hand of God, of the Most High. Set your affection on things above, not on things of the earth." And when I read that precept right there, that's what made me, in the Spirit, think about this title. Your actions will show where your mind is at. And of course, the scriptures talk about persuading those because of the fear. Through the fear of the Most High, we persuade men. So yeah, this may come off like we're quote unquote fear-mongering or by myself here, but it is what it is. Whatever it takes to get the elect out there, and hopefully, Lord's will, myself, to keep us all on the right path. That's why we make these videos. And so yeah, the Lord will find you out. That's what I wanted to say. No matter what, He will find you out, because your actions are an easy telltale sign of where your mind is, what you're thinking and what you're doing on a weekly basis when no one else is around. And you may not even recognize it. You may not even think that you're doing anything wrong, but the point is that you're probably not doing enough. And therefore, your mind isn't in the right place and your actions are showing it. And so, yeah, you may get called out for it, or as a matter of fact, if the Spirit allows and even wants, you will get called out for it, either for your correction so that you can stay on the right path, or for your demise, for your destruction. Lord's will, it's the first, for your correction and overall improvement and growth in the ministry. But our mind should be on things above. We should be constantly thinking about salvation, deliverance, new bodies, fully being at peace, being able to rest and just exist and enjoy the pleasures of this world, this earth. The Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son created it for us, right? Yeah, these are the things that we should constantly be thinking about. And our actions will show that. I want to jump over now to the book of Proverbs, chapter 4. And I'll read verse 23. It says, "Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." Now, what I want to do is read that same precept in the NLT, one of my favorite, other kinds of Bibles. It says, "Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life." And we know that that word heart in the Hebrew is lab, and lab means mind. So guard your mind above all else, for your mind, it determines the course of your life. And so, as an example, if you're constantly showing up late for camp, and I don't mean just showing up. Showing up is cool. That's what we're supposed to be doing. You're offering your body as a living sacrifice. It's great. But if you're constantly showing up late each and every single week for camp, you're 30 minutes late, Brothers notice it. And it tells us, it shows us, where is this brother's mindset at? Naturally in the flesh, you love the brother, but naturally, because we're in the flesh, you can't help but wonder, where is that brother's mindset? Is he taking this ministry serious? What's going on with him? Does he know that he needs to wake up a little bit earlier? Is that brother not checking traffic? What's going on? It makes you question, makes you wonder. And you don't want to be that brother to where other brothers are questioning your faith, your sincerity, how genuine you are in this ministry, if you really have the faith or not. But your mind is showing forth your actions. Or rather the opposite. Your actions are showing forth where your mind is. So you have to guard your mind. Another example, if you're not really making videos, and once again, there's always room for mercy. Absolutely. So yeah, you have maybe a week, maybe even two, being really merciful here, where you only put up maybe one video, I don't know, maybe even none. But if week after week goes by, 3, 4, 5 weeks go by, and you've only put up one video each week, all right, well, something's going on here. And it shows that maybe you're not reading enough. You're not studying. You don't have any topics because you're not in the spirit. It shows that you're maybe not watching enough videos. You're not getting inspired the way I'm sure majority of brothers choose to get inspired by the Spirit. Just seeing what the Spirit has out there. What does the Lord have brothers talking about? Apostles and elders speaking on. Now you make a video on the same exact topic, who knows? Or maybe they say something and you grab a topic from something that they said. If you're not showing up, another example, to certain functions, I'll just word it that way. Nah, not even function. If you're not showing up to certain high holy days and things that brothers are doing, gathering, meeting up in the spirit to worship the Lord. Okay, once again, you're not really taking this thing serious. It makes brothers question where your mind is. And the Lord will search you out. If you're not in this thing, this ministry, because you're sincere and because you genuinely love the Lord and want to do His will, your actions will show that, and it will be brought up. And you don't want to be that brother to where other brothers are questioning you. I'm going to jump over to the book of Mark. Yeah, Mark 7. And I actually want to read this in the maybe ESV. I think it was. I liked it in there. Mark 7 in the ESV on the right, it says, "And he said unto them, Then are you also without understanding? Do you not see that whatever goes into a person from outside cannot defile him, since it enters not his heart, but his stomach, and is expelled? Thus he declared all foods clean." That's not true. The Lord did not declare all foods clean. "And he said, what comes out of a person is what defiles him. Remember, guard your heart. Put on that shield of faith." When you have a shield held up, what it does is it deflects certain objects to where it can't penetrate. It doesn't hit you. So what we're talking about here is specifically maybe other doctrines and just other worldly thoughts, fleshly, earthly thoughts and vibrations and energy that could enter and penetrate into your mind. But if you have that shield of faith up, you may hear it, but it's not really penetrating. It doesn't do anything, right? So verse 20, "And he said, what comes out of a person is what defiles him." But if your shield of faith is not up, all of a sudden you start speaking certain things that are contrary to the doctrine, to the true doctrine of the Lord. And then those thoughts and words start manifesting themselves within your actions, and you start walking a certain way. You start dressing a certain way. You have your hairstyle a certain way. Why? Because really, the number one fleshly thing, for lack of a better word, is appearance. You're worried about your appearance and how other people, and if you're a man, probably women, perceive you. Your hair has to look right. It's got to be on point. You got to have a specific haircut with a nice shape up. You got to have the freshest clothes. You got to be wearing certain things, right? Certain glasses, certain shades, certain shoes. And nothing is wrong with having certain things, certain clothes, jewelry, and even wanting to, quote unquote, groom yourself. But everything has to be done according to the standard of the scriptures. There's still a certain appearance that we should have as holy individuals. And that's just one example. So it's what goes out of you. That's what defiles a man. And so your actions are going to show where your mind is at. You say certain things, you think certain things, yeah. It's going to show in your actions. Verse 21, for from within, out of the heart of man, come evil thoughts, there it is, sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, coveting, wickedness, deceit, sensuality, envy, slander, pride, foolishness. And because that shield of faith was not up, you may not even think that you're falling down the slope of deceit. But all of a sudden, boom, now you're committing adultery, theft. Now you're all of a sudden a covetous individual. And you didn't even realize it. But you see, you weren't striving for the crown. Your mind wasn't in the right place. It says all these evil things come from within, and they defile a person. My last precept that I wanted to get is in the book of, let me think. And that's why you got to take notes, write things down. I got to get back to that. Romans, there it is. The Wadi Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushai. Romans 8, always highlighted though, 5 through 7. Why not? I'll also read this in the ESV. On the right, verse 5 says, for those who live according to the flesh set their minds on the things of the flesh. But those who live according to the Spirit set their minds on the things of the Spirit. And so if you're thinking a certain way, and if you're acting a certain way, and then it raises concern to certain brothers, ultimately it's probably because they're hoping and wishing that you grow in this ministry and they see the lack thereof. Remember, the Bible talks about constantly abounding in this ministry. So we should be growing constantly, if not on a weekly, definitely, monthly type of time frame, on a monthly basis. So our minds need to be constantly set on things above and on the Spirit, not on the flesh. We need to be minding things of the Spirit. How does the Lord perceive me right now? Am I doing His will, and am I doing it to the best of my capabilities? Verse 6 says, for to set the mind on the flesh is death, but to set the mind on the Spirit is life and peace. And I'm telling you, that peace feels good. Because I've been there. Of course, who hasn't? We've all probably been there. Especially when you first come in. You're worried about your appearance. You're worried about how others perceive you. You're worried about what people may say. You got to get your money up. You got to do this, that, and the third. But once you start saying, you know what, I'm only worried about how the Lord perceives me, what he thinks about me, how he's looking at me. Now all of a sudden, you're following after the Spirit of the Lord. You're going to be saying the right things, doing the right things, conducting yourself with behavior that's holy. And that's peace of mind. It brings peace of mind. It gives you clarity. And that feels good. It feels good. It really does. Like, it's almost like it's pleasing. It damn near is almost pleasing to your flesh in a way. Because you're just not worried anymore. You just don't care. You don't care what other people think about you. And that don't mean you walk around with your hair looking crazy and all nappy. But you're not worried about having the freshest haircut all the time, 24/7. It's got to be perfect, squeaky clean every 2 weeks at the same day, same hour. You got to get that cut. You're setting the appointment. You're just not worried. So it brings peace, especially because now you know, my Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai, he overcame the world. He overcame death. Verse 7 says, for the mind that is set on the flesh is hostile to the Most High. It's against the Most High. For it does not submit to the Most High's laws. Indeed, it cannot. You see, it cannot. And it will show forth in your actions. So your actions will show where your mind is at. And then vice versa. Just to end the video, talking about the balance. When you are showing up to camp on time, when you are making your videos on a weekly basis and you're consistent with the quantity that is expected within GMS, when you are showing up to high holy days and things that brothers are doing, okay, now it's easy to tell where your mind is at. No one's questioning where your faith is. No one is questioning how much you actually fear the Lord. No one is questioning your sincerity in this ministry. Yeah, that's a brother right there. Boom, it's natural once again. And that's the side that you want to be on right there. That's the right side. That's how you want brothers to perceive you. And this isn't to say that it's all about you're doing it because you want brothers to look at you in a certain light. That's not the case. But the point is that the Lord works through men. And if they're seeing something and they're saying something, then that means the Lord is seeing something. And he's speaking through those brethren. And these are the same brothers that, Lord's will, are going to keep you strong and that you can trust throughout Jacob's trouble. So it's very important to be within this network, within this body. That's what it is. It's the body of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. And you ought to want to stay in it, be a part of it, grow within it. So I put this video out there for myself first and foremost. And then hopefully as a, what's the proper word? Admonishment for all those who need it. It's just to get right and follow after the Spirit. That's the point here. So call Halayim Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rachak. I pray that this video was edifying to the elect. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And peace and blessings once again to the elect. Shalom.